A really important topic for us to discuss today. Does your new car dealership meet the needs of consumers coming into the market? It's no surprise dealers spend billions, over 17 billion annually in advertising. So they certainly deserve an improved return on investment, more sales, more profits, etc. But the consumer enters the market with a markedly different expectation. They're looking for a contemporary purchase experience. And therein lies the great disconnect between dealer and consumers. A dealer most often compares himself to other dealers, and specifically same make dealers. If I'm a Toyota dealer, my number one and two competitors are the two closest Toyota dealers to me. So I always compare how we're doing to how they're doing. The consumer, on the other hand, has a completely different competitive set. They compare dealers to StubHub, Amazon, um, online banking, mobile apps like Venmo, anything else, TurboTax, anything else that makes their lives simpler. Because consumers have come to expect that technology makes their lives simpler. So the first question a new car dealer really has to ask him or herself about the marketing plan that they're sharing and what it means when received by the new car consumer is, are we showing the competitive value of this dealership to produce a more efficient, more enjoyable, and simply better purchase experience than our competition?
I completely agree. Making the shopping process easier for customers and communicating that will be essential moving forward. We just completed our 2017 State of Automotive Marketing survey. So, this is a survey Nine Clouds does every year. We basically ask auto dealers throughout North America what they're doing online, and then we ask them if they had increased ROI, increased sales, so we can see what works online for dealers. Now, one fact that jumped out to me was that it's going to be really hard for dealers to make the shopping process easier if they're not using and don't have the right data, and a lot of them don't. 30% of the respondents reported that underusage of CRM was a major problem for their stores, and only 28% of dealers know what their customers are looking at on the web. So if you think about competing with someone like Amazon, they say you might also like this product because they know what you've been looking at and they know what you've purchased in the past. So the opportunity for dealers is to combine those two things. They have the purchase database, right? The customer data of when they serviced, what they bought. But most of them, over 70%, don't know what customers are looking at on their website. So I think that's a missing piece. If we can track web behavior and we know what someone bought, we can say, hey, you looked at the red truck. Here's a promotion on the red truck. Hey, you bought the red truck. Here are some services that you should get after the purchase, and some add-ons, some accessories that you should would be interested in. That's going to make marketing much more effective, and it's going to make our customers feel like an actual human, right, instead of a recipient. So we want to treat them like actual people and personalize our marketing by using data that we should be collecting. I think that's a huge opportunity for dealers.
So this brings us to the third rail for a new car dealer. You're going to have to share more information, share more about the process, more about the people, and spend less money on lead generation. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but my guess is most of the people watching this will work in a dealership where somewhere between 5-10% of the most of the total marketing and advertising budget is spent on marketing. The other 95% or more is spent on lead gen. And unfortunately, that excess or overspend on leads is damaging to your dealership and to the industry because nobody aspires to be a lead. The consumer's expectation for contemporary purchase experience means they want a transparent purchase experience. First question, go to your dealer website and take a look at your FAQ page. First question is, do you have one? Most don't. Second question is, how can we share more information that would make it easier for consumers to trust us? Because the big delta between the consumers and the dealers is a lack of trust. Um, and let me just say this, you see this all the time right now on dealer websites, a chatbot, pretty picture of a pretty girl or guy, helpful questions, text me, I'll tell you, text me, I'll tell you. Most of those are handled by third parties, but they eventually just become lead gen, right? Hey, it's complex. Let me have your phone number. Let me have your email. Somebody nice in the dealership will call you. And the next thing you know, you're a lead and you're being chased by 2 or 3 dealerships, 3 or 4 salespeople. And that's simply a purchase experience that today's consumer sees nowhere else. And just to be clear, that's not a compliment. Everywhere else, complex has been made simple. It's easy to inform themselves. They do it all in one spot. They feel comfortable, they push the button, they buy. Cars different, I get it, complex, much more expensive, new cars, trade-ins, financings. I understand the complexity of the situation, but the reality is from a consumer standpoint, if I can do my taxes, any federal tax form in any of 50 states without having to talk to one person, I should be able to buy a car online too. So more information, more transparency, spend more money on that, less on leads, you'll actually see your returns go up.
And I think providing information to customers, helping them learn, actually makes them happier. And you know what? They're going to find the information anyway, so it might as well be from your store. You know, at Nine Clouds, we always say that when you teach someone, they're much more likely to come back and buy from you. And I think that's the mindset dealers should use is how can I teach potential customers about which car they should buy, why they need a warranty, why they need to change their tires, whatever it is. If you can teach them the why question, that builds trust and those people are going to come back. And really, that's the so-called secret to SEO, right? People always say, I want to show up on Google. The way to show up on Google is to answer questions. If someone's looking for something on Google, Google's going to show them the best answer. So if you can be the best answer, you'll show up. And what's more, the average customer, according to Google's automotive department, takes 24 steps to purchase, and 19 of those are digital. So if you're providing answers, if you're putting content out wherever it is, you're much more likely to get in front of those customers before they make a decision. And I think customers are making decisions much earlier, and we know this. You know, the stats I've seen now is the average customer visits 2 or fewer dealers when purchasing because they've already researched online. They already know what they want. And so it's much more powerful for us to get ahead of it, to teach them what they should buy, to educate them online, because they know once they fill out a form, they're going to get bombarded with generic emails, right? So we need to capture them before the form. We need to educate them before the form and be visible. And that's where I think educational content, opening up your wealth of knowledge. The sales reps, the service people, they know what people ask on the floor. If they're asking you in person, they're definitely asking Google. So it's time to get out there. It's time to share that information because that's how you're going to build trust and get people to find you online and eventually come into your store.
So as you're considering your marketing, the simple point is this: consumers don't trust dealers. It's based on how they sell and the fact that the experience is so different than anywhere else they go. To make that point, let's consider Lisa, who's decided this week to buy a $50,000 Chevy Tahoe and to invest $50,000 in GM stock in her 401k plan. Let's start with the stock. She goes to E-Trade or Schwab or Ameritrade or any other online brokerage. She can read independent analysts' reports on the industry, the segment, stock market in general, GM specifically. It gives her the information, the transparency she needs to make the decision. She pushes a button and buys $50,000 worth of stock. From the consumer standpoint, something really important right here. She pays the same amount as Warren Buffett if at the same point in time he bought $50 billion worth of stock, or a drip plan where $5 was reinvested. One price based upon the market. Now consider her experience 2 minutes later as she logs out of E-Trade and moves over and starts looking for her Chevy Tahoe. Google will tell you it's going to be at least 20 different digital stops, car reviews, dealer reviews, trying to figure out a market-based price on the car I'm buying and the one I'm trading in. So that means Kelley Blue Book, Edmunds, TrueCar. Some include incentives, some don't. And as we all know, there's a lot of incentives the consumer has no idea that they're even eligible for. And a lot of salespeople don't know to ask, be it military or any other kind of affinity incentive. So you have this confusing, conflicted sales process. It's basically the legacy dealership sales process. Dealers price people, not products. How do I maximize the profit on the new car, on the trade-in, finance and insurance, and any other aftermarket products? And it's killing the industry. It's hurting your dealership. That's why 99% of consumers expect a hassle only to find out they're right. That's why 70% of salespeople in new car dealerships last year turned over. They can't make enough money. The dealer can't make enough money. And so all those things contribute to sales effectiveness of less than 50% in some stores, certainly less than 60% on an average. 35, 40, 50% pump outs of new cars. That means they never come back, which therein delivers 25, 30, 35% dealer service retention and repeat purchase loyalty of 25 or 30, maybe 35%. The industry's broken for as long as we continue this legacy sales process. Because again, it's like no other sales experience that the consumer today will find anywhere. So the simple answer is it's time to be more transparent. It's trying to build trust with consumers. You do that with more information, not less. You don't have to give cars away, but if you make the experience better, and if your marketing builds trust rather than erodes it, you'll see great gains this year. Good luck and good selling.